Quite by chance, I had an interesting thought and I hastened to share it with you. I was thinking about a woman whom I knew well, who died of cancer. Or, more precisely, as they said, that she died of cancer. In fact, she went to the doctors and they told her that you have cancer. They gave her chemotherapy and she began to recover, but then suddenly died unexpectedly. It turned out that there was a rupture of the intestines because the chemotherapy killed all the intestinal microflora, and the doctors did not ensure that there was enough mucus in the intestines. Because of this the intestines ruptured and from this she died. So it is clear that she died not from cancer but from chemotherapy. Or, to be more precise, from the inattention or indifference of doctors to this soul. So, they say that chemotherapy kills cancer cells which are, in their structure, the same as human cells. Only they multiply or divide at a higher speed. That is, they say that chemotherapy kills all rapidly dividing cells in the body. Starting from cancer cells and ending with hair and other similar rapidly dividing cells. So, at first glance it is clear that this cannot be. Because there are many different types of cells in the body and their division speed is quite different. If you launch a poison into the body that will kill a useful cell, even a rapidly dividing one, then this will lead to the inevitable death of the human body. Judge for yourself, if cancer cells multiply at the same rate as hair cells, then why do hair cells recover after chemotherapy? But cancer cells, as doctors say, do not recover? Doesn't it sound like some kind of deception? If hair cells recover after chemotherapy, then cancer cells should also recover. Since they are similar in their properties to human body cells and similar to the organ in which they develop, since, as doctors say, cancer cells are the division of human body cells. So it cannot be that chemotherapy kills human cells, even if they are developing quickly. This would certainly lead to the death of a person. Well, what I noticed is that I personally know a person whose hair began to fall out after taking regular antibiotics. That is, the result is the same as after chemotherapy, only to a lesser extent. So it turns out that chemotherapy is just a strong antibiotic that kills antibodies and microflora like a regular antibiotic, only it is much stronger and they do it much more often. It turns out that no chemotherapy can kill cancer cells, but the human body itself fights this. It only kills beneficial and harmful bacteria, kills microflora. And therefore, if you were told that after chemotherapy a person survived cancer, then it would be more accurate to say that chemotherapy did not kill the person, but he survived chemotherapy. And why do some people survive? Yes, because cancer cells are not lethal. And cell division is a normal stage of self-preservation. If you break a bone or get a splinter, the body begins to vigorously divide cells around the affected area in order to gradually heal the damage. Pregnant women also experience rapid cell division, which is identical to cancer. But they do not die from it, and after a certain time the body restores everything to normal. The whole reason here is fear, psychosomatics, self-hypnosis. If a person gets scared, they will suggest to him and he will believe that something deadly is happening in his body, then from this fear he can die. But if a person is not told and he does not know about the problems that are happening in his body, then of course, over time, in most cases, these so-called cancerous tumors will resolve themselves. Everything will go away on its own. Cancer is just a multi-billion-dollar business. Why was there no cancer before? Because people lived and ate almost the same way as now. It turns out that they suffered from the same diseases and from time to time they had this same cell division. But they did not know about it and did not die from it simply because they did not know. We're not scared to death. But when they started telling people that you have cell division, and replaced this phrase with a scary word, cancer, and convinced them that you will die from cancer, then those people who believed this began to die. For some reason, no one says that if you hurt your hand and your hand is swollen, that there is also cell division, that is, cancer. Then you will die from this. But for some reason they talk about cancer only when the tumor is inside the body. So as far as I understand, they are deceiving us very much. They are deceiving in everything, including in relation to cancer and chemotherapy. They inject a strong antibiotic and say that it is a poison that kills the rapidly dividing cells of our body. While this is not true. And so be wise and think with your head, because I am sorry. I already know more than one person who was killed by doctors having treated with chemotherapy.